Why do evil people react when they know you know? Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you discovered that someone you trusted wasn't as genuine as you thought? Perhaps it was a colleague who seemed overly friendly but was secretly undermining your efforts, or a friend whose kind words were laced with manipulative intent. And then, something changed. You realized the truth. You saw through their deceit, and you knew exactly what they were trying to do. But what happens when they realize that you know? What happens when they realize their manipulation has been exposed? The reaction of evil people, those who thrive on control, deceit, and cruelty, is often not as straightforward as you might expect. When they realize their deceptive tactics are no longer working on you, their response can shift into something far more subtle, insidious, and calculated. They might not lash out in anger immediately, but their behavior will change in a way that tries to maintain their power over you without you even noticing. Their actions may grow more covert, more disguised, but still aimed at breaking you down. In this video, we're going to dive into the psychology behind how evil people react when they know you know their true intentions. We'll uncover the complex range of responses they use to maintain their control and manipulate the situation to their advantage. Understanding these tactics will give you the upper hand, allowing you to see through their schemes and protect yourself from their harmful influence. This video is for anyone who has encountered toxic or manipulative individuals in their personal relationships, workplaces, or social circles. Whether you're dealing with a manipulative boss, a deceptive friend, or a controlling partner, understanding the reactions of evil people can empower you to stand strong in the face of their schemes. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools and knowledge you need to protect yourself from further harm, ensuring you don't fall victim to their manipulation again. But here's the important part. This is not just another theory-based video. We're not going to talk in abstract terms. Instead, we're going to give you a complete practical guide. You'll get real-life examples, concrete strategies, and actionable lessons that you can apply to your own life. You'll learn how to spot manipulative behavior early, how to set healthy boundaries, and most importantly, how to stay strong in the face of evil. Additionally, we'll introduce you to STOIC philosophy, a powerful tool that can help you stay calm and rational, no matter how these individuals try to manipulate or provoke you. Stoicism will teach you how to detach from the emotional chaos created by evil people, allowing you to approach the situation with clarity, confidence, and strength. So if you're ready to uncover the truth about how evil people react when they know you know, and if you're ready to learn the practical steps to defend yourself from their toxic influence, then be sure to like this video, share it with anyone who needs this information, and subscribe to our channel for more empowering content like this. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified as soon as we release future videos on topics that will help you protect your peace, grow stronger, and navigate the challenges of life with confidence. Let's get started. 1. The smokescreen, creating distractions to confuse. You imagine you've uncovered the truth. An evil person's manipulative behavior has been exposed. You've caught them in the act, and their deceit is laid bare. But instead of facing the consequences, they don't just admit their wrongdoing. They don't come clean. No, they react in a way that is designed to regain control over the situation. They create a smokescreen, a carefully crafted distraction meant to confuse you and redirect your attention away from their actions. This tactic is a classic move in the playbook of those who thrive on power and manipulation. When an evil person realizes you see through their deception, they will do everything in their power to disorient you, so you lose sight of what's important. They create chaos in the conversation, throw in irrelevant details, or shift the focus to something completely unrelated, the goal, to cloud the issue and make you question everything. Why do they create a smokescreen? The answer is simple. Confusion breeds doubt. When you're confused, you start second-guessing yourself. You begin to wonder if you're overreacting, if you've misunderstood, or if you're the one in the wrong. By throwing a smokescreen into the mix, The manipulative individual can shift the focus away from their own behavior and regain control of the situation. Instead of confronting their harmful actions, they shift the blame to you or create doubt about your version of events. A real-world example: the workplace. Scenario: let's say you've noticed a colleague spreading rumors about you at work. You've caught them in the act and confronted them. Instead of apologizing or admitting their actions, they quickly turn the conversation toward your past mistakes. Perhaps they remind you of a project you struggled with or an argument you had with someone months ago. Suddenly, the issue is no longer the rumors they've been spreading. It's about your performance or your past errors. This shift in focus is their way of creating a smokescreen. By dragging your past mistakes into the conversation, they're attempting to distract everyone from the real issue, their harmful behavior. The attention is now on you, and the manipulator can sit back and watch as the narrative is rewritten. In this situation, the evil person isn't interested in taking responsibility for their actions. Instead, they're trying to make you feel guilty or self-conscious, redirecting the conversation so they can maintain their power over the situation. It's a well-practiced technique that manipulative people use to control the narrative and prevent themselves from facing the consequences. The same technique in personal relationships. Now think about how this tactic can play out in personal relationships. Maybe you've been in a toxic relationship where someone has been emotionally abusive or manipulative. After a confrontation, instead of addressing their harmful behavior, they might suddenly bring up past arguments or mistakes you've made. They might accuse you of something unrelated to the current issue, like forgetting an important date or saying something in anger months ago. What they're doing is exactly the same as the workplace example. They're creating a smokescreen. By making you feel guilty about unrelated issues, they deflect attention from their own toxic behavior. They hope that by focusing on your past flaws, you'll feel confused, doubt yourself, or even apologize for things that are completely irrelevant to the present situation. It's a strategy designed to make you feel like you're the one who's wrong, not them. This tactic is especially dangerous because it can make you feel insecure or unsure of yourself, making it harder for you to trust your own perception of events. The manipulator wants you to lose your clarity and focus, leaving them with the power to continue manipulating you. How to protect yourself from the smokescreen. The key to protecting yourself from the smokescreen is recognition. Once you realize that the smokescreen is in play, you'll be able to stay focused on the truth and avoid being misled. The first step is to recognize when it's happening. If someone starts shifting the conversation to irrelevant topics or attacking you personally to deflect from their wrongdoings, know that they're trying to confuse you. A crucial tool in protecting yourself is staying calm and focused on the real issue. Keep your mind clear and don't let yourself be sidetracked by their diversions. Stay grounded in the facts and remember the core issue at hand. For example, if your colleague is spreading rumors, stay focused on the hurtful nature of their actions rather than any unrelated flaws they try to bring up about you. One of the most powerful strategies to avoid falling for the smokescreen is documenting the facts. Keep track of specific instances of their behavior and actions. Whether it's a record of their manipulative tactics at work or instances of emotional abuse in personal relationships, having a clear and accurate record of events can help you stay focused and avoid getting lost in the distractions. A written account provides a solid foundation that will remind you of the truth when they attempt to twist reality. In addition to documentation, stay confident in your perception of events. Trust yourself, even when they try to make you doubt your own experiences. People who manipulate often rely on your insecurity to maintain control. By staying confident, you deny them the power they seek to undermine your sense of reality. If possible, bring others into the conversation to act as neutral observers. If someone else witnesses the manipulator's behavior, they can help validate your version of events. This can make it much harder for the evil person to create confusion and allows you to present a united front against their manipulation. 2. Gaslighting. Manipulating your perception of reality. 1. of the most insidious tactics that evil people employ when they realize you've exposed their true nature is gaslighting. This form of psychological manipulation is particularly dangerous because it distorts your perception of reality. Gaslighting involves making you doubt your own experiences, memories, or even your sanity. It's subtle, yet incredibly powerful, as it slowly erodes your confidence and sense of self. Over time, you may start questioning your thoughts, feelings, and reactions, making it easier for the manipulator to maintain control. The reason they gaslight is simple: to destabilize you and make you dependent on them for your perception of truth. When an evil person can manipulate your reality, they strip away your ability to trust yourself. They know that if they can convince you that your recollections or feelings are incorrect, they can dominate the situation, making you second-guess everything you know to be true. This psychological tactic puts them in control while leaving you feeling lost and unsure of yourself. Imagine a situation where someone close to you, perhaps a partner, friend, or colleague, lies or behaves inappropriately. You confront them about their actions, expecting them to own up to what they've done. But instead of taking responsibility, they insist that you're overreacting or that you're imagining things. They may even twist the conversation to accuse you of being paranoid, irrational, or overly sensitive. At first, these accusations might seem minor or unintentional, but as they continue to repeat these claims, something subtle begins to shift. You start to feel uncertain about your own perception of events. The more they dismiss your feelings, the more you begin to doubt yourself. Over time, this continuous pattern of undermining your reality can leave you questioning everything. You may wonder if you're truly overreacting, if you're being unreasonable, or if you're just too emotional. This creates a state of confusion that isolates you from your own thoughts and feelings, making you more susceptible to their manipulation. They effectively create a warped version of reality, where you feel as if you can no longer trust your own mind. The evil person benefits from this process because it shifts the blame onto you, making you feel as though you are the problem, not them. As a result, they can continue their harmful behavior without facing any consequences, while you are left with a diminished sense of self-worth. Gaslighting is dangerous because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process that wears down your mental resilience. It can begin with small, seemingly inconsequential remarks about how you remember things wrong or misunderstand situations. These remarks are often dismissed as harmless, and you might shrug them off at first. However, as the manipulator continues, the pattern becomes more pronounced. The longer they manipulate your perception, the harder it becomes to recognize what's really happening. This makes it increasingly difficult to trust your own intuition, and in the process, the manipulator tightens their grip on your reality. So, how can you fight back when faced with such insidious manipulation? The first step is to trust your own perception of reality. While gaslighting may make you feel unstable, it's important to remember that your experiences and emotions are valid. You have a right to your thoughts and feelings, and no one, especially a manipulative person, should have the power to make you question them. To protect yourself, it's crucial to stay grounded in your reality and hold on to the truth of what's happening. One highly effective strategy is to keep a journal. Writing down events as they happen provides a clear and objective record that you can refer to whenever doubts start to creep in. When someone gaslights you, having a written account of past events can serve as undeniable evidence of what actually occurred. This becomes a valuable tool for reminding yourself of the truth when the manipulator tries to distort it. Additionally, keeping a journal allows you to track patterns of behavior, so you can clearly identify when manipulation is occurring and how it escalates. Another powerful method for defending yourself is to set firm boundaries. Make it clear to the manipulative person what behaviors are unacceptable and define what you will and will not tolerate. When they try to undermine you, stand strong in your boundaries and remind them that you expect respect and honesty. By maintaining consistent boundaries, You send a clear message that their manipulative tactics won't work on you. This can help reduce the power they hold over you and make it harder for them to continue manipulating your perception of reality. Gaslighting can be a devastating experience, but it doesn't have to leave you powerless. By staying connected to your truth and implementing strategies like journaling and setting boundaries, you can take back control and prevent evil individuals from manipulating your perception of the world. Remember, the key is to trust yourself, even when they try to make you feel like you can't. You deserve to live in a reality where your thoughts, feelings, and experiences are valued, and no one has the right to take that away from you. 3. Playing the victim. Shifting blame and gaining sympathy. When an evil person realizes that you have seen through their deceit and manipulation, one of their most common and effective strategies is to play the victim. In this move, they manipulate the situation in such a way that they appear as though they are the ones being wronged, shifting the blame entirely onto you while evoking sympathy from others. This tactic is designed to turn the tables and paint themselves as innocent, while simultaneously making you feel guilty for something you didn't do. It's a clever and insidious way of deflecting attention from their own harmful actions, all while manipulating the emotions of those around them. The underlying goal of playing the victim is simple. It's all about maintaining control. When they can make you feel like the aggressor or the cause of their pain, they not only shift the focus away from their own misdeeds, but also create a dynamic in which they are positioned as someone who needs protection or sympathy. This strategy aims to make you question your own behavior and feel responsible for their emotional distress. The more you begin to doubt yourself and feel responsible for their feelings, the more control they regain over the situation. They feed on the empathy and kindness of others, turning those qualities into tools for manipulation. Take, for instance, a scenario where someone has lied or deceived others, causing harm in the process. When confronted with the evidence of their wrongdoing, instead of taking responsibility for their actions, they twist the narrative to make it appear as if they are the ones who are being unfairly attacked. They might say things like, "I've been nothing but kind, and this is how I'm treated." Or, "You're making me feel terrible. Why are you doing this to me?" These statements serve to evoke guilt, making you feel as though you are the one in the wrong for simply pointing out their behavior. The more they repeat these lines, the more likely it is that you may start questioning your own motives, creating self-doubt. This tactic isn't just about the immediate interaction, it's about gaining sympathy from those around you. Once they have successfully played the victim, they often turn to friends, family, or colleagues to further their narrative. They will present themselves as someone who has been wronged or mistreated, spinning the story to paint you as the villain. This is especially dangerous because it isolates you from others, while the manipulator continues to play on the emotions of those who are sympathetic to their fabricated plight. The more others believe that they are the victim, the more power they gain, leaving you feeling helpless and alone. When an evil person attempts to play the victim, it can be emotionally overwhelming. It's easy to get caught up in their emotional drama, especially if they have a history of manipulation. However, the first step in protecting yourself is to recognize the tactic for what it is. Playing the victim is a manipulation tool meant to keep you off balance and make you feel responsible for their emotional state. Understand that their pain is often fabricated or exaggerated in an attempt to control you. The goal is to make you feel guilty, even though you are not the one who should feel guilty. Once you realize this, you can begin to detach from the situation and respond with a calm, rational mindset. A powerful response is to assert the truth of the situation confidently and calmly. When you stand firm in your understanding of what has actually happened, you prevent them from controlling the narrative. Avoid getting drawn into emotional arguments or displays of victimhood. Instead, stay focused on the facts and present them clearly. Don't let their emotional outbursts distract you from the truth. It's essential to not get caught in the drama they create. Instead, remind yourself and others of the facts that led to the confrontation. This can help you stay grounded and keep the situation from spiraling further out of control. It's also important to reinforce your boundaries. Playing the victim is a way for the manipulator to blur the lines between what is their responsibility and what is yours. They may try to guilt trip you into doing things you don't want to do or taking on responsibility for their actions. In these situations, it's crucial to set clear, firm boundaries. Let them know that you will not accept being blamed for things that are not your fault. You don't need to take on their emotional burden or feel responsible for their suffering. By reinforcing these boundaries, you protect yourself from being manipulated and prevent them from using their victimhood as a tool to control you. In the face of someone playing the victim, the best defense is to remain emotionally detached. Focus on the truth and assert your boundaries. Recognize their attempt at manipulation for what it is, and don't let it cloud your judgment. By doing so, you can protect yourself from their harmful tactics and maintain control of the situation, ensuring that you are not made to feel responsible for something that is not your fault. 4. Attacking your character. Dismissing your credibility. When an evil person realizes that you've uncovered their true intentions and manipulative behavior, one of their most common tactics is to attack your character. Instead of facing the consequences of their actions, they'll attempt to dismiss your credibility entirely. They will go to great lengths to portray you as untrustworthy, irrational, or even malicious. By discrediting you, they aim to shift attention away from their own wrongdoing and place the blame squarely on your shoulders. This manipulation is a powerful tactic used to make you seem unreliable, sowing seeds of doubt about your integrity and fostering mistrust in the minds of those around you. The reason behind this attack is simple. When they can discredit you, it becomes easier for them to avoid accountability. If others believe that you are the problem, they will be less likely to scrutinize or challenge the manipulator's actions. This allows the manipulator to continue their harmful behavior without anyone questioning their motives or actions. Essentially, by eroding your credibility, they weaken any potential opposition, leaving them free to operate without fear of consequences. They aim to isolate you, making it more difficult for anyone to believe your side of the story. Imagine you confront someone who has caused harm with clear evidence of their wrongdoing. Instead of acknowledging their actions or taking responsibility, they turn the tables by attacking your character. They may label you as paranoid, exaggerate your flaws, or accuse you of being a troublemaker. They might even twist your past mistakes to further undermine your credibility, making it seem as if you are unreliable or unworthy of trust. This tactic is designed to confuse others and make it harder for them to discern the truth of the situation. The more they succeed in casting doubt on your character, the more isolated you may feel. With each successful attack, it becomes increasingly difficult to defend yourself, and you may begin to doubt your own worth in the eyes of others. These attacks are particularly harmful when they happen in front of an audience. When others witness the attack, the manipulator has the chance to plant seeds of doubt in their minds, turning them against you. If they succeed in discrediting you in front of others, it can feel like a devastating blow to your reputation. The more people believe their narrative, the more alone you may feel. It creates a vicious cycle where defending yourself becomes even more challenging, as your credibility is constantly being undermined. So, how can you protect yourself from such character attacks? The first step is to maintain your composure. The manipulator's goal is to provoke an emotional response, to see you react in anger or frustration, as it can make you appear unstable or defensive. By staying calm and composed, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you flustered. Recognize that their primary aim is to destabilize you, and don't give them the opportunity to succeed. Keep your confidence intact and avoid being drawn into emotional arguments. You know your truth, and it is important not to let their words shake your sense of self. A key strategy in defending against character attacks is to stay consistent in both your actions and words. Over time, your true character will reveal itself, and those who truly know you will see through the manipulations. It is important to remain firm in your principles regardless of the attacks against you. People who are familiar with you, who have observed your behavior over time, will be more likely to dismiss the manipulator's lies and trust in your integrity. If necessary, calmly remind others of your past actions and demonstrate through your behavior that you are trustworthy. Additionally, having evidence to support your claims can be a powerful way to protect your credibility, whether it's through documentation, personal testimony from others, or any form of tangible proof. Evidence can counter the manipulator's narrative. Keeping a record of events, conversations, or even written communication can serve as crucial support when your character is under attack. If you have witnesses to your side of the story, don't hesitate to reach out to them for their support. When faced with accusations, presenting facts and evidence in a calm, rational manner can help disarm the manipulator's tactics and restore your credibility. In situations where your character is being attacked, it is vital to remember that the manipulator's goal is to distract, confuse, and isolate you. By staying composed, consistent, and grounded in the truth, you deny them the power to control the narrative. Keeping clear records and having the support of those who know you will help ensure that your credibility remains intact, even in the face of such attacks. With patience and resilience, you can maintain your integrity and protect yourself from the harmful influence of those who seek to discredit you. 5. Emotional blackmail. Using fear to control. When an evil person realizes that you see through their manipulative behavior, one of their most potent and insidious tactics is emotional blackmail. This form of manipulation involves using your emotions, insecurities, or deep-seated fears to control your actions. Emotional blackmailers understand that fear, guilt, and shame can be powerful motivators. If they can trigger these emotions in you, they can force you into compliance, making you act in ways that go against your best interests. The goal is to make you feel so emotionally overwhelmed that you abandon your own needs, desires, and boundaries in favor of appeasing their demands. The reason emotional blackmail is such a powerful tool for control is that it plays on the very emotions that bind us to others, our love, compassion, and empathy. Evil individuals know that emotions can cloud judgment, and once they tap into your emotional vulnerabilities, they can manipulate your decisions. It's not about a fair exchange or mutual respect. It's about exploiting your emotional investment in them to achieve their own selfish goals. They are fully aware that if they can trigger feelings of fear, guilt, or a sense of obligation, they can manipulate you into doing whatever they desire. They create a scenario where your emotional response overrides logical thinking, turning the power dynamic completely in their favor. Imagine a situation where someone close to you, perhaps a partner, friend, or family member, uses threats of harm to try to coerce you into doing something. They might say something like, "If you leave me, I'll have nothing left," or "If you don't help me, I'll ruin my life." These statements are designed to create intense emotional pressure that overwhelms you. Rather than making decisions based on rational thought, you are left feeling trapped by a looming sense of fear, guilt, or even responsibility for their well-being. The person knows how to push the right emotional buttons, and in doing so, they force you to make decisions driven by emotional manipulation, not by what's best for you. A particularly effective aspect of emotional blackmail is how it often exploits your love and care for the person doing the manipulating. They know that you want to help, that you care deeply about their welfare, and they use this to their advantage. They might make you feel that their happiness, stability, or even survival depends entirely on your actions. This dynamic can make it incredibly difficult to separate your true emotional impulses from the manipulation, as your natural compassion becomes weaponized against you. They want you to believe that if you don't comply, you are the cause of their misery, further reinforcing your guilt. Protecting yourself from emotional blackmail requires first recognizing that it's happening. It's important to understand the signs and take a step back when you begin to feel overwhelmed by guilt, fear, or an urgent sense of obligation. If you feel like you are constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that your actions might trigger an emotional outburst, or worse, take the time to assess the situation from a more objective standpoint. Ask yourself whether the person is using your emotions against you, to manipulate your actions. This awareness is the first line of defense against emotional blackmail. Once you recognize the manipulation, it's crucial to set clear emotional boundaries. Remind yourself that it is not your responsibility to fix someone else's problems or to carry the weight of their emotional well-being. You have the right to live your life according to your own values, needs, and priorities. Saying no is not only acceptable, but necessary for maintaining your own mental and emotional health. Emotional blackmail thrives when you feel guilty for asserting your boundaries, but you must remind yourself that you are not obligated to sacrifice your well-being for someone else's emotional instability. In addition to setting boundaries, a vital strategy for confronting emotional blackmail is to calmly address the issue when it arises. If someone is using fear or guilt to manipulate you, stand firm in your response. Clearly express that you will not be manipulated through emotional pressure. Don't be swayed by dramatic emotional outbursts or threats. Instead, stick to your values and decisions. This may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you have a strong emotional connection with the person, but being clear about your boundaries is essential for breaking free from the cycle of manipulation. By maintaining your emotional boundaries and asserting your right to make decisions based on your own needs, you can take back control. It's important to remember that you do not need to feel responsible for someone else's emotions or happiness. Emotional blackmail only works if you allow it to, so learning to recognize it, set firm boundaries, and assert your independence will protect you from being controlled by fear or guilt. Over time, as you continue to stand firm, you will regain your sense of autonomy and reduce the emotional power that others hold over you. 6. Deflection. Redirecting your attention to avoid accountability. When an evil person realizes that you are aware of their true nature and the harm they've caused, one of the most frustrating tactics they will often employ is deflection. This manipulative strategy involves skillfully redirecting the conversation away from their behavior and onto something else entirely. Rather than confronting their wrongdoings and taking responsibility for their actions, they try to avoid accountability. By shifting your attention, it's a deliberate tactic designed to make you forget the real issue at hand, allowing them to evade any consequences for their actions while you're left without a resolution. The reason deflection is such a common and effective tool is that it allows the manipulator to sidestep uncomfortable truths and preserve their sense of control. Facing the truth, admitting fault, and taking responsibility would require them to acknowledge their wrongdoings, which could lead to a loss of power, respect, and possibly face negative consequences. Instead, they avoid confronting the situation head-on by changing the focus of the conversation, making it impossible for you to address the real issue. They create a smokescreen that distracts you from what truly matters and leaves you unable to confront their harmful behavior. A typical deflection scenario plays out when you confront the person about their actions. Rather than acknowledging the harm they've caused or offering an apology, they immediately steer the conversation in a completely different direction. They might bring up something from your past, an unrelated issue, or even make personal attacks, all in an attempt to shift the focus away from their own behavior. For instance, imagine you confront a friend about a lie they told you. Instead of apologizing or addressing the dishonesty, they might respond with, "Well, you never listen to me anyway," or "You're always so paranoid." By deflecting in this way, they manage to turn the conversation around, making it about you and your supposed flaws, rather than the lie they told. This leaves you scrambling to defend yourself, preventing you from ever addressing their deceitful actions. Dealing with deflection requires patience, clarity, and the ability to stay focused on the real issue. The first step is recognizing when the conversation is being intentionally derailed and not getting swept up in their attempts to avoid responsibility. It's easy to fall into the trap of responding to the unrelated comments they throw your way. But doing so only lets them continue to manipulate the situation. Instead, you must calmly and assertively bring the conversation back to the facts. What happened, what was said, and the harm that was caused. By keeping the focus on the original issue, you prevent the manipulator from avoiding accountability and ensure that the matter can be addressed properly. One effective strategy for handling deflection is setting clear boundaries during the conversation. Politely but firmly remind the person that the issue at hand is their behavior, not unrelated matters or personal attacks. By doing this, you reinforce that the focus should remain on their actions, and you won't be sidetracked by irrelevant topics. If the conversation continues to veer off course, you can gently but decisively steer it back, making it clear that you're not willing to waste time on side issues. Another helpful approach is to prepare for the conversation in advance. Before engaging in a confrontation, write down the specific points you want to address. Having a clear outline of what you need to discuss can help you stay on track and ensure that you don't get distracted by deflections. The key to managing deflection is not allowing the manipulator to set the agenda of the conversation. By maintaining a firm focus on the core issue and not getting caught up in unrelated distractions, you prevent them from evading accountability. Setting boundaries, staying calm, and reinforcing the original topic can help you regain control of the discussion and ensure that the manipulator can no longer sidestep their responsibilities. Through this approach, you can protect yourself from the emotional and mental toll that deflection can take, while also ensuring that the person is held accountable for their actions. 7. Isolation. Turning others against you. When an evil person realizes that you know the truth about their harmful actions, one of the most dangerous tactics they can employ is isolation. This manipulative strategy involves subtly working to turn others against you in an attempt to cut you off from your support system. The goal is to create doubt, suspicion, and mistrust among your friends, family, or colleagues, so that they distance themselves from you. By breaking these connections, the manipulator makes you feel vulnerable, alone, and exposed, weakening your ability to resist their control. This tactic is particularly insidious because it can erode not only your emotional well-being, but also your confidence in the people around you. The reason isolation is so effective is that it strips you of the resources and emotional support you rely on for strength. A strong support system provides reassurance, guidance, and protection from manipulative behaviors. Without that support, you become more dependent on the manipulator, making it easier for them to maintain control over you. They understand that if they can isolate you, they can further destabilize your sense of security, making you more vulnerable to their influence and manipulation. The isolation can happen gradually, leaving you feeling increasingly disconnected from those who once supported you, making you question your relationships with them and even your own perceptions of reality. Consider a scenario in which an evil person starts spreading rumors about you behind your back. They might tell others that you're unreliable, paranoid, or unstable, casting doubts about your character and intentions. This calculated smear campaign causes people to question your credibility and judgment. As the rumors take hold, your friends, family, or co-workers may begin to distance themselves from you, choosing not to engage with you or pulling away from your life altogether. The isolation becomes more pronounced over time, and what was once a strong network of support slowly crumbles, leaving you without anyone to confide in or rely on. The damage to your relationships is subtle but deeply impactful, and soon you find yourself in a situation where you're emotionally isolated and cut off from the very people who once provided a sense of safety. In addition to spreading rumors, the manipulator may employ more subtle forms of isolation. They may work to undermine your connections by convincing others to exclude you from social events or important discussions. For instance, they might arrange gatherings or meetings where you are deliberately left out, subtly implying that your presence is unwelcome. These actions create an environment in which you feel alienated and excluded, reinforcing the idea that you're being unfairly targeted. The sense of isolation deepens as you begin to wonder why people are choosing to avoid or exclude you, and it becomes easier for the manipulator to maintain control over your emotions by making you feel disconnected and abandoned. Fighting against This tactic requires a strong sense of self and an unwavering belief in your own worth. It is important not to internalize the manipulator's efforts to turn others against you. Recognize that the goal of isolation is to weaken you, to make you question your relationships, and to destabilize your emotional state. If you notice that someone is trying to sow discord or manipulate your relationships, it's crucial to address it directly and calmly. Don't engage in defensive behavior or allow the manipulator to make you doubt your own reality. Instead, focus on maintaining open lines of communication with the people who truly matter to you. Reach out to your close friends, family, or trusted colleagues and ensure they understand the reality of the situation. Share the truth, calmly explain what has been happening, and reinforce the strength of your relationships. At the same time, it's vital to nurture your support system. Make a concerted effort to stay connected with those who have consistently been there for you. Spend time with people who genuinely care about you and whose loyalty has been proven over time. By ensuring that your true support network remains intact, you make it harder for the manipulator to succeed in isolating you. The more you can keep these relationships healthy and open, the more difficult it becomes for the manipulator to gain traction in their efforts to turn others against you. Over time, those who know you will see through the manipulative tactics and recognize the truth, leaving the manipulator with fewer people to influence and control. By staying grounded in the truth, maintaining your connections, and reinforcing your sense of self-worth, you can protect yourself from the isolating effects of manipulation and retain the emotional strength needed to resist their control. 8. Sabotaging your reputation. Undermining your success. When an evil person realizes that you know the truth about their manipulative actions, they may resort to a more insidious and covert tactic, sabotaging your reputation. This strategy involves intentionally undermining your credibility, spreading lies, and portraying you in a negative light in order to ruin your public image. By targeting your reputation, they aim to discredit you and prevent you from achieving your goals or gaining the respect of others. This type of attack is particularly harmful because it not only damages your self-esteem, but also places you in a vulnerable position, making it harder for you to succeed and maintain your place in both personal and professional circles. The reason why evil people engage in reputation sabotage is straightforward. By tarnishing your image, they can neutralize the perceived threat you represent. If people start to doubt your abilities, question your character, or view you as untrustworthy, it becomes increasingly difficult for you to gain support, secure opportunities, or earn the respect you deserve. This diminishes your influence and power, while simultaneously allowing the manipulator to maintain their control or superiority over you. The sabotage serves their agenda by keeping you in a weakened and vulnerable position, unable to fight back or advance toward your goals. For instance, consider a situation where you're excelling at work or school, gaining recognition for your efforts and achievements. An evil person, perhaps a coworker, peer, or someone close to you, starts spreading false rumors about your performance. They accuse you of being lazy, dishonest, or incompetent, which directly undermines your credibility in the eyes of others. They may take credit for your hard work, or even subtly discredit your achievements, portraying them as insignificant or unearned. Over time, these lies chip away at your reputation, causing people to doubt your abilities and question your integrity. What was once a positive image becomes tainted, and others begin to view you with suspicion, hindering your personal and professional growth. In some cases, the sabotage of your reputation can take on more subtle forms. Instead of outright lies, the manipulator may engage in backhanded comments or covert actions designed to make you look unprofessional, unreliable, or incapable. They might plant seeds of doubt in conversations, making dismissive remarks about you or subtly steering people to believe you are not trustworthy. For example, they may speak negatively about your work ethic in casual discussions or manipulate situations to make you appear unqualified or ineffective. These actions, while not as overt as lies, still have a corrosive effect on your reputation and can make it difficult for others to see you in a positive light. As a result, you may find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth, battling a perception that doesn't reflect your true abilities or character. Protecting your reputation from such sabotage requires consistent effort and a commitment to maintaining your integrity. The most important defense against reputation undermining is to remain consistent in your actions and behavior. Your work and character should speak for themselves, and by consistently demonstrating competence, reliability, and honesty, you can counteract the lies or negative portrayals of your character. Excellence in what you do, paired with integrity, will eventually win over those who might otherwise be influenced by the manipulator's tactics. The key is to stay true to yourself and allow your actions to reflect who you truly are. Another effective strategy for protecting your reputation is to document your successes and achievements. By keeping a record of your work and accomplishments, you create a tangible evidence of your capabilities, making it harder for anyone to distort or deny your contributions. A written record of your accomplishments can serve as a powerful defense if someone attempts to twist the narrative or discredit you. Having clear evidence of your successes gives you a solid foundation from which to counter any attacks on your reputation. In addition to documenting your achievements, it is also helpful to cultivate relationships with allies who can vouch for your character and work ethic. Having people who know you well and can speak to your integrity can provide a strong defense when others try to tarnish your image. These allies can provide support, testify to your abilities, and counter any false claims made against you. With a solid network of trusted individuals behind you, it becomes more difficult for an evil person to isolate you or manipulate others into questioning your character. Most importantly, when someone actively tries to sabotage your reputation, it's crucial to stay grounded in your values and not let their actions define you. While the impact on your reputation can be hurtful, don't allow their tactics to shake your belief in your worth. Stand firm in your integrity, continue to work hard, and stay focused on your goals. Reputation sabotage is a challenge, but it's not the final word on who you are or what you can achieve. By maintaining your confidence and refusing to engage in the manipulator's game, you ensure that their efforts to destroy your reputation ultimately fail. 9. Subtle revenge. Taking small actions to hurt you. When evil individuals recognize that you see through their manipulative tactics, they may turn to a more covert form of retaliation. Subtle revenge. This strategy is insidious because, unlike blatant acts of aggression, it involves taking small, calculated actions designed to undermine, hurt, or discredit you. These actions, often minimal on the surface, may seem inconsequential or insignificant at first glance, but over time, they accumulate and can have a profound effect on your well-being, mental state, and relationships. The primary reason behind subtle revenge is its ability to go unnoticed. Especially in the early stages, these small, often passive-aggressive acts are difficult to identify, making it hard for others to perceive the true intent behind them. To the outside observer, they may appear as innocent mistakes, misunderstandings, or even harmless behavior. This creates a situation where the perpetrator can maintain an air of innocence while still achieving their goal of harming you. The advantage for the manipulator is that they can get away with this behavior without facing any accountability, all while enjoying the feeling of control and power over you. A typical example of subtle revenge in the workplace could involve a colleague who repeatedly forgets to include you in important meetings or decisions that directly affect your role. This act, while seemingly unintentional, can create a sense of exclusion and undermine your position. As a result, you might feel left out or even inadequate, while the person who is undermining you escapes the blame. Similarly, in a personal setting, a friend might make passive-aggressive remarks about your appearance, work, or even personal choices. These comments may appear to be small jokes or casual observations, but over time, they chip away at your confidence and self-esteem, making you question your worth and abilities. Another example of subtle revenge can be seen in how an individual may work to quietly erode your relationships. This could involve offering unsolicited advice to others about you, subtly planting doubt or distrust in their minds. They may gossip about you in ways that seem innocent or trivial, but the cumulative effect of these whispers can slowly tarnish your reputation and affect how others perceive you. In some cases, the manipulator may even create situations where you appear unreliable or untrustworthy, even if the blame isn't directly placed on you. These small, seemingly insignificant actions accumulate and can leave you feeling isolated and misunderstood. To protect yourself from the damaging effects of subtle revenge, it is essential to stay vigilant and aware of the small, everyday interactions that may signal underlying hostility. Paying attention to the nuances of people's behavior can help you identify patterns, particularly when certain actions or comments seem intentional or repetitive. If you start to notice a series of small incidents that make you feel uncomfortable or undermined, it's important to address them before they escalate further. One effective approach is to confront the individual calmly and assertively, addressing the behavior directly. Often, people who engage in subtle revenge rely on ambiguity to avoid confrontation and deflect responsibility for their actions. By calling attention to the issue in a composed and straightforward manner, you take away their ability to continue with the tactic without facing consequences. You can express how their actions have made you feel, ask for clarity, and set boundaries regarding what behavior is acceptable. In many cases, simply confronting the issue can put an end to the subtle retaliation, as it forces the individual to either take responsibility for their actions or back off entirely. Additionally, it's important to trust your instincts. If something feels off, or if you sense that someone is acting in a passive-aggressive manner, don't dismiss it. Often, subtle revenge manifests in ways that are hard to put into words, but your intuition can help guide you toward identifying these behaviors. Acknowledge the discomfort or unease that arises, and take proactive steps to address the situation early on. By doing so, you prevent these small actions from building into a larger, more damaging issue that could affect your relationships and sense of security. Final thoughts. How stoicism can help you defend yourself and stay strong by now. You've likely recognized the many insidious tactics that people with harmful intentions use when they realize you see through their manipulative behavior. From emotional blackmail and deflection to sabotage and subtle revenge, these strategies are designed to undermine you, shake your confidence, and strip you of your power. But here's the empowering truth. You don't have to be a victim to these tactics. You have the strength to rise above them, and one of the most effective ways to do so is by embracing the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism offers a profound philosophy for handling adversity. It teaches us that, while we can't always control what happens to us, we absolutely can control how we respond. The philosophy empowers us to maintain composure in the face of external challenges and focus on what we can change, our reactions, our mindset, and our approach to the world around us. By adopting Stoicism, you can build mental resilience, allowing you to stay grounded and unshaken no matter how others may try to manipulate or harm you. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the idea of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. When you recognize that you cannot control the actions of others, you are freed from the emotional burden of their behavior. Instead of investing energy in trying to change someone else's actions or reactions, Stoicism encourages you to focus on what you can control, your own integrity, your peace of mind, and your self-respect. By letting go of what you cannot influence, you create space to nurture your inner strength and mental clarity. Additionally, Stoicism encourages us to reflect on our emotional responses and detach ourselves from negative feelings like anger, fear, and frustration. In any situation, particularly one involving manipulation or mistreatment, it's easy to react impulsively or emotionally. However, Stoicism helps us train ourselves to cultivate a mindset of inner calm and rational thought. This allows you to respond with wisdom and clarity, rather than allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. Whether you're handling manipulation, protecting your reputation, or addressing someone's passive-aggressive behavior, Stoicism provides you with the mental tools to respond calmly, with strength, and in alignment with your values. The true power in these difficult situations lies within you. By embracing Stoicism, you empower yourself to remain strong, protect your boundaries, and maintain control of your life. While others may attempt to undermine or bring you down, Stoicism allows you to remain resilient, focused on what truly matters, and impervious to their toxic influence. With this mindset, you not only rise above their tactics, but also become the master of your own well-being and peace.